Hey there, it's Jennifer with a little bit of wine rambling. Today I'm going to tell you about 5 easy tips for ordering the perfect wine. So when you're out for a meal, and I get this question all the time from my girlfriends, like, what do I order? They may send me a picture of the list, and so it depends on a lot of different factors. So we're going to go through 5 tips on how to navigate that question. So the first one being, is it just for you? Are you having a glass for yourself, or is it for the whole table? So if it's for just you, then you know what you like, your flavor profile. And so let's say you like grapefruit. So immediately you could get a New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc. Let's say you like strawberries. Maybe you could do a Gamay from France. So once you learn the flavors that you like, even if you're not exactly sure what that grape might translate to, you can say those flavors to the som, if there is a som, and they'll help you guide you to the exact glass that would be perfect for you. Then it might be for the whole table. So you want to maybe decide what everybody's going to be eating. So if everyone's doing like heartier, menu, then you're going to want to go with a red. So let's say you have 4 at the table, 3 like red, 1 likes white. But it just makes sense to get a glass or a bottle of red because that's going to serve a glass with a little extra, 4.5 glasses in a bottle. So you can compromise and get maybe the light, not a cab, but maybe a Pinot Noir because it's the softest of the reds. So that white wine person is going to be okay, that she's not like dried up here with her tannins, but she'll be able to enjoy this red wine that's not going to overwhelm her palate, and all the red wine drinkers are going to be super pleased. So you just kind of want to gauge, what the whole table's eating and make a compromise. If everyone likes red, let's decide what kind of red. Do we want Old World or New World? And that brings me to number 2, which Old World versus New World is pretty much Europe and everything else. So that would be New Zealand, South America, Chile, Argentina, things south of the equator. So those are the New World wines, and the Old World would be, our standards of Italy, Portugal, Spain, France, that kind of thing. So, and the difference being that, in my estimation, I would say Old World is, they have less additives into them. Like in the American wines, I think we put more additives for ageability and for traveling across the ocean, stability. And in the Old World wines, I feel like it's just more what God intended is in the bottle. So it's what nature's sun, sand, soil, what we call terroir, is all in the wine, and it's a little more natural. The winemakers often don't really screw with what God's got going on. Sometimes they do a little bit with barrel aging, but more often than not, it's just kind of a reflection of the terroir. So the New World wines has a little more modernity, a little more modern vibe to them. So those are ones that have a little more, maybe the winemaker technique, let's do some stainless steel, let's do different types of oak barrel aging or different sorts of yeast strains and whatnot. And they kind of learn from the masters of the Old World wines. So that's technically kind of what, in a like basic nutshell, when they talk about Old World versus New World. So, and then to my mind, I would just say, like, if I had a couple adjectives, that Old World is a little more meaty, more muscular, more full-bodied, more food-friendly. And I would say the New World wines are a little more bright, fruit-forward, a little... they have a lot of style and elegance to them as well, but you could have them, I think, a little better on their own than having to pair them with food all the time. That's just generalities, okay? So let's see, number 3 is, what kind of price do we want to pay? So you don't have to spend the big bucks. That's the secret. Don't tell anyone. So, but what also, by the glass, what we do, insider tip, is I've been on the streets for 20 years selling wine. So I'm doing wine lists all the time. And what happens is they want to pay for their bottle after the first glass. So let's say they only sell 1 glass, and then 2-3 days go by and they don't sell anymore. They don't want to lose that dollar monetary value out of the 3.5 glasses that they wasted, that they may have to make a soup with, or saute their pans with, or throw away, God forbid. A lot of places are doing the the Corvins where you can just do single servings, and sometimes you can get a nice by the glass that way, or they're on the Vino Temps, so that that's when they keep the air and the oxygen away from the wine so it doesn't go bad. So if you're in a place like that, which not all of them are, you can get a really nice bottle of, or glass of wine for an affordable price, and you don't have to go all in for the bottle. But so typically, let's say it costs $12 at the grocery store, or their cost, it's going to cost you $12 for that glass. So, and then they want to times it by that 4, because you got 4.5 glasses. And then maybe they take off a couple bucks to incentivize that bottle sale, and then you get that extra half bottle or half glass for free. So really, it's the best deal typically. If you see that formula, which should be pretty much everywhere you go in a restaurant, it's a little better if you're gonna have 2 people with 2 glasses. Just buy the bottle, you're gonna save a couple bucks, and you get an extra half of a glass. Insider tip. All right, number 4. Does your restaurant offer a corkage or a to-go situation? Or bring your own. So I was in Chicago. We don't have a lot of these here, but a lot of places didn't have their license. So one way to get around that is you could bring your own wine in. And I think some of them made you charge a corkage, some did not. So a corkage fee is like, I know here in Michigan, if you bring your own bottle of wine, they might say, you know, Wednesday nights, bring your own and pay $25. And that's a situation where you could bring in, like, say, a very expensive bottle of champagne that you might pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars for on the list, and celebrate your anniversary when you brought it from your fridge, from your cellar, and all you had to pay is $25. So that's a great thing. And then the to-go thing we do have here in Michigan as well. So what that is let's say you're out to lunch, and a lot of people don't have wine at lunch, but let's say you're an old soul or European because you're eating food, you gotta have wine. That's how I feel. So you could get that bottle of wine, have your 1 glass, and then they can cork it for you to go. So in our law, it's just as long as you have the receipt out of the reach of the driver. Even their Mothers Against Drunk Driving is on board with that, because then you're not trying to hustle through that whole bottle with you and a friend or yourself, or whatever, like you would ever do a bottle at lunch. But so it just kind of gives you that option that you don't have to get a by the glass. So it really turns all those reserves into by the glass. And then you don't have to force anyone else at the table to drink if they don't want to drink. You can just have your little 1 glass and take it away with you. Love that, love that. So number 5, ask for a sample. I mean, especially with the by the glassers, because they have them all open. If you're on the fence and you're not really sure, like the Somm probably figured out what you like based on what you said. I like fruity, I like light, I like dry, I like crisp, whatever you've said. But let's just say, well, do you have a sample I can perhaps try? Like on a by the bottle only, they're not gonna do that. But by the glass, they're probably pretty happy to do that. And they might even give you a couple different to say, like, okay, I like Sauvignon Blanc, but I don't know, do I like New Zealand or do I like, California? So they could bring you a little bit of each, and then you can try it. And the good thing about that is if you're a server and you're listening to this, or a Somm, then you know that once they taste something, they're gonna buy it. So I have a bonus tip for you, which is order off regions. What I mean by that is, like, so say you're gonna get something from Spain and, you know, everything's from Rioja. Maybe get something from, you know, down in the south of Catalonia or something, an obscure red that you've never heard of. You know, or go, like the Somms, sometimes they taste these with the reps every day. So they get some very, very cool wines at great values. Like maybe they get a little Super Tuscan for next to no money, and it drinks like, you know, a $30 bottle of wine. So it doesn't say Chianti Classico. We don't know what it is. It's like random Super Tuscan. So we're kind of afraid to try it. But if you go to those little kind of off the beaten path kind of brands and varietals and regions, especially if it's kind of a nicer restaurant, you're going to get a little bit better value. And it's fun. It's not just your ABC, always be Chardonnay. Anyways, so hopefully you've learned a couple of things off of my video today. And cheers, salud. Talk to you next time.